When you know it doesn't happen.
Brings it out of me.
I just love it. I really do think this is a really unique and special team. And they'd be like, hey, we're going to get through it. But this is a team that I have never felt like this in the W. And I've been in it for 7 years. I know you've been in it for 8, you know.
This was not just another night in the WNBA. No, this game had all the tension of a playoff matchup, the star power of a final stage, and the kind of drama that leaves fans talking long after the buzzer. The Indiana Fever stepped onto court knowing they had something to prove, and the Atlanta Dream arrived determined to shut down the hype. What followed was a high-intensity showdown filled with highlight reel plays, clutch shots, and swings of momentum that made every possession feel critical. From the opening tip, Caitlin Clark sent a clear message. She wasn't just here to play. She was here to dominate. The rookie sensation wasted no time testing Atlanta's defense, pulling up from deep beyond the arc with her signature quick release. Swish. The crowd erupted, and suddenly Gamebridge Fieldhouse was alive. That opening three wasn't just a basket. It was a statement. This was going to be Clark's night. But Atlanta was about to roll over. Ryan Howard, the star of the Dream, answered right back. She attacked off the dribble, pulled up from mid-range, and drilled her first jumper with confidence. Every time Clark looked like she might take over, Howard had an answer, and that's what made this game so electric. It was a duel between rising superstars, each refusing to let the other seize control. The Fever, though, had more weapons. Kelsey Mitchell wasted no time showing why she's one of the most dangerous scorers in the league. Running off screens, catching in rhythm, and knocking down threes, Mitchell kept the Dream's defense scrambling. Whenever Atlanta focused too much on Clark, Mitchell made them pay. Aliyah Boston, meanwhile, owned the paint. The reigning Rookie of the Year showed off her strength and footwork, backing down defenders and scoring through contact. At times, it felt like she was a wall on defense, protecting the rim, snatching rebounds, and setting the tone physically. The first quarter flew by in a blur of offense and energy. Clark pushed the pace, using her handles to create space, and finding teammates like Lexi Hull and Alyssa Smith in stride. Atlanta countered with Jordan Canada's speed at the point guard position, breaking down the Fever's defense and finding Cheyenne Parker inside. By the end of the first, the game was neck and neck, and fans knew they were in for a thriller. In the second quarter, the Fever turned up the pressure. Clark began to take over as a playmaker, threading impossible passes through the defense. One moment, she'd drive hard into the paint, draw the defense, and whip a one-handed pass to Boston for an easy layup. The next, she'd pull the defense out with a step-back jumper, only to drop a dime to Mitchell on the wing for three. Her court vision was surgical, and it left Atlanta scrambling, but the Dream fought back. Howard kept scoring. Parker muscled her way to buckets in the post, and Canada's speed created transition opportunities. The Fever defense bent under the pressure, but it didn't break. Grace Berger checked in and provided a spark, hustling on defense and keeping the ball moving on offense. Lexi Hull's energy on both ends kept the Fever alive when Atlanta threatened to take control. As halftime approached, Clark drilled another deep three, sending the crowd into a frenzy. The Fever carried a slim lead into the locker room, but it felt bigger than the scoreboard showed. They had weathered Atlanta's punches and were still standing tall. Coming out of halftime, the game shifted gears again. Atlanta came out aggressive, determined to swing momentum their way. Howard continued to attack. Parker drew fouls inside, and suddenly the Dream were on a run. The Fever's lead evaporated, and for the first time, the game felt like it might slip away. But this is where Caitlin Clark showed why she's built for the big stage. With the crowd urging her on, she hit back-to-back threes, each one deeper than the last. Her confidence was unshakable, and her teammates fed off her energy. Boston reestablished dominance inside, Mitchell attacked the rim, and suddenly Indiana was rolling again. The third quarter was Clark's stage, and she owned it. The fourth quarter had the intensity of a playoff game. Every possession mattered. Every bucket brought the crowd to its feet. Clark controlled the tempo, Mitchell stayed aggressive, and Boston anchored the defense. Atlanta kept fighting. Howard refused to back down, hitting tough shots and keeping her team in striking distance. With under 4 minutes to play, the game was still up for grabs. Clark dribbled up the floor, sized up her defender, and with a quick crossover, created just enough space. Step back three. Bang. The arena exploded. That was the dagger. From that moment on, it was clear this was Indiana's night. The Fever closed out the game with poise, securing rebounds, making free throws, and clamping down defensively. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard confirmed what everyone already knew. The Indiana Fever had delivered one of their most complete performances of the season. But beyond the win, this game was about something bigger. It was about a young team finding...
The W was a W for a reason. We played great, phenomenal players inside out every single night. And to get what we want, but I think that truly came from a standpoint of like making sure we didn't let Canada get whatever she wanted.
Its identity. It was about Caitlin Clark proving she could lead her squad under pressure. It was about Aliyah Boston showing that the future of this franchise is bright. And it was about Kelsey Mitchell reminding everyone why she's a steady veteran game with poise, securing rebounds, making free throws, and clamping down defensively. When the final buzzer sounded, the scoreboard confirmed what everyone already knew. The Indiana Fever had delivered one of their most complete performances of the season. But beyond the win, this game was about something bigger. It was about a young team finding its identity. It was about Caitlin Clark proving she could lead her squad under pressure. It was about Aliyah Boston showing that the future of this franchise is bright. And it was about Kelsey Mitchell reminding everyone why she's a steady veteran presence this team needs. The Fever didn't just win, they made a statement. They showed that when Clark, Mitchell, and Boston are clicking, they're a team that can't be ignored. For Atlanta, it was a tough loss, but one that reminded the league just how dangerous Ryan Howard and her squad can be. And so, as fans left the arena buzzing, one thing was clear: the WNBA's future is in good hands. Nights like this, with rising stars clashing, momentum swinging wildly, and highlight reel plays on every possession, are exactly why the league is growing so fast. Caitlin Clark may still be a rookie, but with performances like this, she's already looking like the kind of player who changes everything. For Indiana, this one wasn't just about tonight. It was about belief, momentum, and the promise of something bigger down the road. Now, let's dive deeper into what this one really means to the Indiana Fever, and why this game could be a turning point not just for their season, but for the growth of women's basketball as a whole. When we talk about Caitlin Clark, it's easy to focus on her scoring, those deep threes, those fearless step backs. But tonight, it was her playmaking that truly separated her. She finished the game not only with points, but also with a staggering number of assists, threading passes that most guards wouldn't even attempt. What stood out was her ability to read the defense 2 steps ahead, seeing a cut before it happened, hitting her teammates perfectly in stride. That's not just talent. That's basketball IQ at the highest level. Aliyah Boston deserves just as much credit. She's not flashy in the same way Clark is, but she's the anchor that makes everything possible. Boston controlled the paint with authority. Every rebound she pulled down, every shot she contested, shifted the momentum in Indiana's favor. And offensively, she's becoming more polished with every game. Her footwork, her patience, and her ability to finish through contact all point toward a player who is evolving into a dominant force. Kelsey Mitchell, too, reminded everyone that this isn't a one-woman show. Her consistency as a scorer gives the Fever a reliable second option. She thrives in those moments when offenses collapse on Clark, knocking down open shots and keeping the floor spaced. Without Mitchell's shooting, Clark's drives and...
No, I just tried to get a jump ball, and, she's a good size.
The Smith, Graceberger. These aren't names that always make the headlines, but their hustle, their defense, their willingness to dive on the floor or contest a shot, those were the hidden plays that kept Indiana ahead. In a league where margins are razor thin, those little things are actually massive. On the other side, we have to give credit to the Atlanta Dream. Ryan Howard was sensational. Every time Indiana tried to pull away, Howard dragged Atlanta back into the fight with big shots. Cheyenne Parker brought physicality inside, while Jordan Canada's speed kept pressure on Indiana's defense. For Atlanta, this game will sting, but it also showcased potential of their roster. They have star power, they have depth, and they're not far from being a serious contender. From a tactical standpoint, this was fascinating, Indiana leaned heavily on Clark's ability to create mismatches. The Dream tried switching defenders, trapping her on pick and rolls, even throwing a box-and-one defense at times. But Clark adapted. When they blitzed her, she passed out of it. When they sagged off, she shot over the top. That adaptability is rare for a rookie, and it's exactly why she's drawing so much attention around the league. For Atlanta, the takeaway is clear. They need to find more ways to slow down elite perimeter playmakers. Their interior defense held up at times, but against a guard like Clark who can stretch the floor to 30 feet, adjustments have to be sharper. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Fever have been building something special, and tonight was another step forward. Every win like this isn't just about the standings. It's about confidence. It's about a young team learning how to win close games, learning how to handle pressure, and proving to themselves that they belong. And make no mistake, the crowd felt it too. Gamebridge Fieldhouse was electric, and that energy feeds into the players. You can see it in the way Clark played after each big shot, feeding off the fans, raising her arms, demanding more noise. That connection between star players and the fan base is what builds franchises. And Indiana has struck gold. From a league perspective, this game was another showcase of why the WNBA is growing at such a rapid pace. Star power, rivalries, highlight plays, and passionate fan bases. It's the perfect recipe. Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Howard, Parker. These names aren't just players. They're becoming household brands. And as the league continues to push into the mainstream, games like this are the fuel that drives the fire. Looking ahead, the Fever will need to build on this momentum. One win is great, but the true test is stringing together consistent performances. Can they bring the same intensity on the road? Can Clark continue to grow as both a scorer and a leader? Can Boston stay healthy and dominate inside? Those questions will determine how far this team can go. For Atlanta, the challenge is similar. They showed resilience, they showed fight, but they need more consistency. Ryan Howard is a budding superstar, but she needs consistent help around her. If Parker and Canada can maintain this level, and if their bench can provide that extra spark, the Dream will remain in the playoff conversation. But tonight belonged to Indiana. This was their statement. This was their night to shine. And as the final buzzer sounded, there was no doubt. Caitlin Clark and the Fever here, and they're not going anywhere. And with this thrilling win, the Indiana Fever sent a powerful message. They're not just competing, they're contending, and the WNBA spotlight shines brighter than ever on